How's it going, guys? So, all right, hopefully some people are finding us back in here again. Hey, what's up, guys? What's up? Welcome back. We're back. Let's give people just a second here to jump back in. I'm using RuneLight. We'll let people pop back in here, and then we'll get going. Like we'll actually get going with the stream here in just a moment as soon as they get in here. So I'll give people a second to refresh. We'll wait like a minute or two here. I use RuneLight. I'm usually using like the HD and everything too, because I like the way it looks, like the smoothing and the graphics too. As you can tell by my XP, I don't play a whole lot of old school RuneScape, but I do definitely enjoy playing it. Like when I got some free time. Honestly, most of the time when I play old school RuneScape is like when I'm just chilling on the couch and I have my iPad out and I'll be playing it on the iPad. That's when I mostly end up using it is like when I'm on my iPad. Like you see from my stats, they're definitely nothing impressive. I was like, oh, I'm gonna try to go to like the 100 million in fletching. That's kind of like something I thought about doing. My only problem is though, every single time I buy fletching supplies, they just go like straight down to the ground. Like if you look at my bank right here, oh, looks like my face is kind of in the way. I don't know why I can't move this. It's so annoying. There's some things I wish they would do on old school that they have on RS3, but like, I just recently bought these, like 100,000 of Dragon Bolts, and then they crashed. It happens like every single time that I buy fletching supplies, so I'm just like, oh my god. I also have like this like little collection tab of just like collecting random things in here. Some people also contributed to some things like I got 25,000 of these or so from like one person. 99 fletching pog. Yeah, I know. It's like the only skill I've like put some time into. I've got 15.2 million in fletching. Like it's nothing crazy, obviously, but I'm very casual with how I play old school. I just kind of do whatever I want. Unlike RS3, where I'm like, okay, 200 million all really fast. Let's do it. But okay, we got quite a few people back in here now. So let's go ahead and jump on into the actual content now. So let me just hit that record. Boop, boop. And how's it going, guys? How's it going? I realize I'm slunched way down here. So today we're going to be doing a flipping video for old school RuneScape. In today's video, we're going to be showing you guys how to flip using like real strategies, like real actual strategies. I'm not just going to be like, buy this and sell this. It's going to be like, I'm going to flip on this stream because this is a live stream. So everybody that's in the live stream, feel free to contribute questions, whatever you want to, like whatever. If you want to know something, just ask me. I've been flipping in old school RuneScape since 2013. I know you guys only see me flipping in RS3 mostly on the videos, but like I've been flipping on here forever as well. And old school RuneScape is a blast to flip with. So, but in today, I'm going to show you all the tools that I use, except for one, and that is our spreadsheet that's going to be coming out for our Discord server very soon. It's a multi-page spreadsheet that has like all the super in-depth information on all the items that are worth flipping. It also has them all separated out as to like, you know, kind of work on this tier first, then this tier first, this tier first. Very similar to our current RS3 spreadsheets. If you are a flipper in our RS3 Discord server, just imagine that, but old school. It also has a little bit more data too, because old school flipping is a little bit more in depth and advanced than RS3 flipping is, but there's no reason to be afraid of it. It does just require a bit more skill, I will say, especially once you get into the more expensive items. It's definitely not like RS3 where you can flip items that are like a billion in RS3, and they don't really move a whole lot usually, so you don't really have that much risk when you flip those. In an old school RuneScape, if you're flipping things that are like a billion, like Tumekin, Tebow, whatever, you can quite easily lose your ass on that. So yeah. But I will explain how to flip everything from like a dragon bone all the way up to Tebow and everything in this video. I'm probably not going to live flip the Tebow and Tumekin and stuff because this is a live stream, so people can easily just go ahead and snipe my price, and if that happens, that would really suck because, like I just mentioned, you can lose a lot of money really quick. But we will flip some things that are like in the hundreds and stuff like that of millions. Probably just going to avoid Tebow and stuff like that for the live stream, but I will show you how to do them. So as I was mentioning, it's just like this video is to give you guys like an actual working example of how to flip these things, not just like a guide and then kind of go do it on your own. You guys can like watch me flip, and hopefully that'll be useful for you. So if you are watching this recording after it is made, then also feel free to leave a comment in the comments down below. And just like if you have any questions, feel free to post them. I will answer them. You can also join our Discord server down below, and whether you are doing old school or RS3, we have both in that server, so you can just reach out if you need help or whatever. We've got our help tickets, which are open for everyone to use. You do not have to be a Patreon member to use the help tickets, so be sure to utilize those and learn how to flip or whatever other questions you have. Also, too, if you are an RS3 flipper and you want to, slap that easy button and start making billions per month, we have people making 5-10 billion per month. You can join our Patreon and support the channel and also make a ton of money for a low price. So here we go. Let's see. Drock says, "You've been stacking OSRS gold for a long time. I know. I use you to exchange RS3. Oh, to swap. Yeah. And the exchange rate has risen since then." I'm like trying to like skip sentences. I probably shouldn't. Mission failed. We'll get them next time. No. At any given time, my old school RuneScape account has anywhere from like 20 billion to I think the most I've ever had on old school at one time was like 80 billion. But it's split between accounts, and I do swaps all the time, so it's always changing. But anyway, let's go ahead and go through it. When it comes to my flipping experience on old school RuneScape, it's just like RS3. I have made a ridiculous amount of money in old school RuneScape, so if you have questions, I can definitely help, even though I'm sure some of you are like, you don't even flip in old school, but I do. All right, so let's go ahead and jump on into it. What I first want to show you actually is flipping utilities. So if you've been flipping in old school at all, then you probably have used flipping utilities, which is right here. You can get it by going onto your RuneLite, and then you can just add it in there, and then just look at flipping utilities, and then that way you can just have this right here. I don't like go by this, like the stats thing. I don't sit here and like really calculate all this up. Sometimes this thing will bug, and it will be like, it'll be a little bit inaccurate at times. So I don't personally sit here and download my session or whatever, but if you do and you're like really watching it, then it can be accurate, and that's fine to use. But mostly what I use this for is going to be the slots, because that will tell me when my stuff is ready. And then the flipping right here, which will give me a lot of information, which I'm going to go through in just a second. What do you mean you're not an actual manatee? Oh, it turns out oh no, sorry, it's a filter. I am a manatee, and I have a filter of this guy. Yeah, I just picked like this guy off the internet. I'm actually, just random AI. SparkMac is almost at 100 billion so far, so 80 billion is respectable for sure. Yeah, like, I don't honestly have any idea like how much I've made since 2013. It is a lot, but the thing is though is since I've been swapping a lot, also back and forth in the games, on RS3 I have almost 2 trillion, and then on here I don't know what my total is at right now, but this account has like something around 7 billion on it, and then my other accounts I use for swapping or whatever have more money too. So I don't honestly have any idea what I've made in total. But it's not really about counting every coin for me. It's just more about just like the fun of doing it. So, it's like, when you're not worrying about how much you're making, it's maybe easier to make it, I guess. Flipping utilities is insane. Is there something similar for RS3? Um, our Discord server is probably the closest thing you're going to get to this. There used to be SudiBot, which SudiBot was definitely useful because it was updated pretty frequently. The only other thing right now would be like I don't know. I'm not even going to name them. There are two other Discord servers that have basically tried to like copy what I did and what Sudi did, and so they have their stuff out there, but they're usually very inaccurate. So I really wouldn't use them like flipping utilities. Flipping utilities is really good because what flipping utilities does is it pulls it directly from the live prices, which is directly from the API. So this is not like, these are not user submitted prices. This is all based on people that are flipping through RuneLite, and that is updated onto the OSRS live prices. So you know that there is nothing that can be like faked here. You can't like fluff a price or whatever. So there isn't currently anything this accurate for RS3, but in our Discord server, we do have multiple flipping sections where we post buys and sells. So that's about as close as you can get for RS3. So let's go ahead and look into this a little bit more, though. What I'm going to do actually is I'm going to show you. Let's go ahead and just kind of like give like that. We'll continue the overview type of thing that we're going through here. This right here is the next thing you're going to really want to have. So we've got our flipping utilities up on the right here. I kind of like briefly explain that, and I will also explain that a bit more in a second. But this right here, also this is a little bit awkward for me because I change the ratio of my screen so that way the numbers and everything are bigger for you guys. So I'm just like, how do I fit this? So right here, we've got the prices from OSRS Wiki. You can bring this up by literally just typing like OSRS live prices or whatever, and it will pop up. I guess I shouldn't say whatever. Just type in OSRS live prices or the OSRS Wiki, and then go to live prices from there, and you will get to a screen that is very similar to this if you did not click on a specific item. And then right here you can see how you've got like, you can make a favorite list, you can look at all items, you can do whatever. If I click on all items right here, it's going to show me all kinds of crap, probably way too many things for me to possibly use. But that is what you can do if you can see that. So if we just go and click back, this right here on this page gives you like a broad overview of some like high volume stuff, and it'll give you also like a rough idea of what the margin is. So another reason why I wanted to show you this page and kind of explain this in a video is because the margin that you see here is not always accurate, and actually most of the time it is not accurate, but it will give you a rough idea of how much this will actually earn you. So don't scroll down here and be like, oh, Twisted Bow is going to make, actually here, a better example, Tumekin Shadow is going to make me 3,421,000,000. God, I can't talk. Okay, one more time. 3,421,000. I'm like reading too many things here at once. Just because it says that this is the margin, that is not the margin. I can tell you that on this item and on the T-Bow, okay, look, okay, there, T-Bow just updated. Then this is what I'm talking about right here. This is not going to be the margin you want to go after, because if you see right here between these two prices, OSRS also has a tax, and the OSRS tax caps at 5 million coins, unlike the RS3 one, which there is no cap, but in the old school RuneScape, it caps at 5 million. Once you've gotten to the numbers like this right here, this amount is under it's going to be 5 million once you're up in the billions like this. So with this right here, you would lose money because you pay more than this in tax. So as I was mentioning right here, with it not being like the right number to use, but it's a good idea to get a reference from it, we look right here at T-Bow, and now T-Bow shows 8,700K. So this number is actually a profitable number, and this one is probably closer to being the real profit you would expect. The other number it was below 5 million is not the one that you want to aim for. So if you were to start using OSRS live prices, then I'd highly recommend that you do not sit here and just be like, oh, these are the margins, click, 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 and then try to do that. You're going to either lose money or just miss out on money. And I will explain how to do this correctly as we move along here. So let's go ahead and go up here. We're going to go ahead and search for an item. Actually, can we use one of these? Yeah, we can use one of these actually. So let's do Cannonball, for example. Let's see. So Cannonball has a. How do I go? How do I make this go back? Oh, there you go. On RS3, I invested half my bank in double XP items. Hopefully it pays off. Hey, good luck. Good luck. We already had the announcement though, so just make sure that you check that investing sheet that I have in there. It will tell you if some things are supposed to go up, you know, like at the announcement or like during the event. So the items that will go up during the event are going to be really good. I also have a video coming up here really soon that's going to show you guys some items that you can still invest in now and still make some profit. I've got some that are like really good actually, like some that were like I was buying them for actually I'll give an example of one of them was I was buying them for 300,000 after the announcement, and then on the event they will sell for like 800,000. So it'd be really, really good. It's like over double your money. So if we're looking right here, we've got buy price of Cannonball at 201, and then we've got our sell price at 193. Let's just go over here into our screen and let's just go ahead and do Cannonball, and then I can also show you how the flipping utilities works. So we've got this right here. If you look at the actively traded price, by the way, that 199 is just kind of like the most average price being paid. That does not include the lows and does not include the highs. It is just like what most people are paying for a Cannonball. So you don't want to use this number to like figure out your non-instant buy or non-instant sell. It's not going to be a very good time for you if you use this for that. But this is a good idea to be like, okay, I know it's around this price. Like I'm not going to try buying these for 500 when I can see it's around 199. So I'm going to go ahead and buy this Cannonball. And as you can see, since I bought this Cannonball, my utilities over here has now updated. So if I go ahead and grab our Cannonball, I did pay 201. So if you look right over here, it shows you that my last insta buy was 201. Perfect. Now we're going to go over here to Cannonball, and then we're going to go ahead and put it in for sale. And there is that 1% convenience fee, which if you go ahead and click on this tax, by the way, it explains it, where basically the Grand Exchange charges a fee for selling most items. It's tax. This is typically 1% of the amount paid for each item, or 5 million coins, whichever one is lower. So there is a 1% fee, but there is a cap at 5 million. Overall, the OSRS one is so much better than the RS3 tax. And then also too, on the very low things for this game, you also do not pay a tax, so keep that in mind as well. But we do have a very small tax on our Cannonball, which we will see in just a moment. So I went ahead and did an insta sell of 199. If I go to my history too, you can also see that even though 198 coins is what I took back, that is not how much I sold it for. I sold it for 199. I just paid a coin in tax. So that's kind of how that works right here. If we look at the Dragon Bones, when I instantly sold those, I sold them for 34.06. I had 34 cents or 34 coins in tax, and then so we're at 33.72. So that is just kind of like what that looks like, so you don't get confused and think that you actually sold it for lower than what you did. Because for example, if you were to instantly sell this Cannonball and you saw 198 coins and you went to put your buy offer in at 198 coins, it's going to be inaccurate and they're not going to buy because the price is actually 199. That's why it matters. Where can we find your investing sheet? The investing sheet that has all the information for double XP is part of the investing mastery section in the Discord server. So if you have any of the Patreon sections, then you have access to that spreadsheet. If you don't have one of the Patreon sections, that sheet is locked off for the patrons. But there is a open free flipping section sheet that is available in the free sections as well that you can use for like flipping. It just does not include those long-term invests. Okay, so we'll go right here, but also kind of like I mentioned, I have an upcoming video that will explain some things too. That investing mastery sheet in the Patreon section, though, what it has there that's really useful is it will tell you what the previous highs were for the double XP, the buy limit, like all the numbers that you would need to be able to just like make decisions without having to go deep research it and read graphs yourself. It's all done for you, and it's a huge ass sheet. Okay, so let's go ahead and move on to something else. Let's go ahead and move on to something that we'll actually need to use the OSRS live prices for, because that'll be a little bit exciting. We're going to move on to a Dragon Claw. So what I'm gonna need to do, actually I think they're probably still under this price, right? I haven't flipped a Dragon Claw in probably like a couple weeks. Oh, nope, they randomly went up. Nice. Probably should have kept some of those. So if you are somebody who's working with over max cash on old OSRS, it's very simple to mitigate. All you have to do is click on your platinum tokens that you have, or if you don't have platinum tokens, you need to get them, just use them on a banker. And then when you use them on the banker, it says exchange for, oh, you can't see that because my face is in the way, but it says to exchange platinum tokens for coins. And then boom, now you have a max cash stack and you've got your leftover platinum tokens. Something I find really annoying though is that when I am doing flipping and stuff and I want to withdraw some money, like especially when you start making profit, then you will have to constantly go back and forth, and it's obnoxious. I wish there was a better way around it, but anyway, let's look at Dragon Claws. So Dragon Claws are going to be a great item, I feel like, in order for us to use the OSRS live prices. In order to figure out what we are going to need to figure, well, like in order to figure out our buys and our sells and to do that accurately, because we don't want to lose money on our Dragon Claws. So as we see right here, the wiki insta buy, it shows at 109.4. It shows a wiki instant sell of 108.053. And there is a roughly 1.1 million tax, something like that, on this item, given the price of it, because it's 1%. And so what that means for this item is that going by these prices right here, it looks like your profit would be like 350,000, which would be pretty awesome. But what we need to do, and I'm telling you, okay, sorry, 250,000 apparently. My tax guess was probably a little bit wrong. So what we need to do though is we need to look at something before you start plugging in these numbers, because remember, that's what I said is like the mistake you don't want to make. Because you don't want to leave money on the table and you don't want to get screwed over by fees. So if we're back over here, and then we're going to go up here and we're going to type in Dragon Claw. Also, too, if this is on your screen and it's not like it's not set to a different setting in order to make it easier to read, then this is much easier to use. So this site does look prettier when it's not crammed into a small space. But we click on this Dragon Claw here, and then we'll go back up. If you want to, you can go ahead and add the Dragon Claw to your add to favorites if it's something where you're like, oh man, I really enjoyed this item. Manatee Gaming showed me that this item is like bonkers margins. So yeah, then you just save it to your items right there, and then when you go back down here, your favorites, you click that and it'll bring up your Dragon Claw. It's also very, very useful to save something if you are going to be actively flipping it. And I will explain, I'm going to show you what I actually do. That's probably the easiest way to do it. You also have like the wiki and everything here that you can go ahead and copy, or sorry, like you can go ahead and visit while you're here. It's all very easy to find. But if we look right here, so we have that these recent trades right here are on the OSRS wiki. But keep in mind though that these basically go off of the prices that were pulled during that time. It's not giving you any other information based on other items that were bought and sold during this time. It's also not giving you any information based on the people that are not using RuneLite, because the OSRS Live Wiki comes off of the RuneLite API. So given that, the people that are playing on a different version of this are not, their buys and sells are not going to be on here. That's actually a really great strategy, by the way, that I'll talk about in a second, but I don't want to get you too confused if you are learning in this video. So what I want to do is I want to look at my 1 day price in this graph. So I've got it on 1 day, and then that way I'm going to be able to see the most accurate margin. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my graph right here, and I'm going to drag this, and that way I can see only this ending piece, right? Okay, there we go, boom. So what we can see is that it is on a slight downward trend. So given that information, I'm not going to want to try to sell it for any more than the recent highs. So if I look right here, this recent high price or a sell price was at 109.565. The next one was looking at like 109.4. The next peak over here is probably going to be like, I don't know, 109.3 or something like that. We can kind of figure that out from the graph, right? We've also seen that some people have been underselling these things like crazy. And that was probably somebody who just threw one in there to get rid of it. So that is not someone that's flipping it most likely. Which is the reason why we cannot use these prices up here as like the end all be all when it comes to like, oh, are these the prices we should use? That right there is why you don't want to do it, because this price, as you see, the 108.5 was up here. It was actually up here as like one of these prices. And so if you would have thrown yours in to sell here, you would have lost money based on the taxes. So that's why you don't do that. You want to come down here and look at this graph. Also, too, there is an auto update feature, an auto refresh feature, as you see. Boom, boom. Okay, it just refreshed that. Now it says a minute ago we saw some price changes here. So I like to wait until it's about to refresh and then get my freshest price possible. As we can see right here, this low price has been slightly creeping up. We got this one guy that paid way too much, but we got this price slightly creeping up at 108.085. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here, 108.091. You don't have to go like 6,000 above, but just for the sake of it, I'm just going to do it. So now what I've got right here is I've got my Dragon Claw sitting here, and once I click on the Dragon Claw after I've put the offer in, it now pops up over here on my utilities. So now once I get a successful buy of Dragon Claws, then it will pop up over here as my last buy price. It won't be an instant buy because it's going to be slower. It's going to be a non-instant buy, so it'll come over here on our last buy price. So we can just go ahead and leave that. If we look back over at our sheet, because the next thing we need to figure out before we just leave this for the day, we're going to need to figure out what we're going to sell it for. And kind of like I was mentioning, this price seems like it's going down a little bit. The peaks seem to be just like it's like a peak up here, then someone undersells, there's a peak up here, and then someone undersells. Probably because they see it going down a little bit, and some people are freaking out, mixed with the people that are just throwing them there and then not actually flipping. So those combination of people are making this graph like kind of wonky. So what I'm probably going to do is I'm probably going to go with like 109.3. That's going to be my guess. And now also too, you see how this right here says 109.4. If you were to use 109.4, it very well might sell for that price, might. But if we see the graph down here, we can see it's trending downwards. The chances of it selling for this price again is very unlikely. And that's why it says that 9 minutes ago is how old this price is. In like 10 minutes in old school RuneScape, the prices can dramatically change. You'll know like a general idea of like where they are at, and people helping each other is a really great strategy for old school RuneScape too, because if you show people the price you paid, like for example in our flipping sections in our RuneScape server, like showing people the price you paid and everything is a really great idea to do still, because that will keep people from like, you know, if someone was like, oh, no sell at 109.4, then you know that price doesn't work anymore, and it's really useful for other players. So what we're going to do is we're going to let this item sit here for a few minutes. It doesn't usually take too long for a Dragon Claw to buy. So while we are waiting for Dragon Claw, though, let's go ahead and try to flip something else. Looks like my insta-buy, insta-sell for Dragon Bones was right around there. This is mine. You can see what the wiki was showing right there, and then you can see how much mine were. But the thing is, though, mine are a little bit older. This is the wiki ones are a little bit more up to date. So you could attempt to like flip some Dragon Bones if you wanted to while you're waiting. But let's go and try to find another item that's a little bit bigger, like something that we realistically would flip, because we're probably not realistically going to be flipping Dragon Bones. You can if you want to, but we're probably going to want to flip things that give us a little bit more profit, because we like profit. Let's look at a... let me see. Her Dragon Hunter? We could try a Dragon Hunter crossbow. Dragon Hunter crossbows are usually really good. Oh, but hey, look at that. Okay, that took roughly 2.5 minutes to buy, and that is perfect, I would say, because we don't want it to buy too fast. We wanted to make sure it did buy, and also, look at that. We bought it, guys, for like over 50,000 coins less than what this person over here did. So that is another reason why you don't want to just go by this price right here. There's a lot of people out there doing flipping content that are like, just use this price. But no. We're going to make an extra 50,000 coin because we're smart. All right, I'm going to try this. I'm going to try 109.379.99. And that is because it's going to be below this, because we know it's not going to hit that again, most likely. But we don't want to go too far below it. We're just going to kind of inch our way down. So let's go ahead and try. Also, we have our actively traded price. Don't look at this and panic, because that doesn't necessarily mean that this is your sell price. If we do successfully sell this, we will make 108.286. So I'm going to go ahead and put it there, 108.286. And then our purchase was 108.091. So we will make a pretty good profit there. We'll make just about 200,000 coins, which would be not too terrible on some Dragon Claws. There are definitely items that have far better margins than Dragon Claws, but this is usually a good item to do because it does have an 8 buy limit. So and you saw it bought in like 2.5 minutes. So if you were going to do some Dragon Claws, that is, oh, boom, there we go. What's up? Look how fast that was. Awesome. And there we go. And look, oh yeah, look, we can see my profit. My profit is this coin's right here. Let's see, that is 194,717 coins. So we just made about 195k, and grand total of that entire flip was about 3 minutes. So it's not bad at all. If you have a multiple buy offer in there too, like let's say you're buying like 8 Dragon Claws, they'll just be buying while your next ones are selling, and you'll move through them really quickly. And if you found that good price like we did, which was now look, that price that was like 108.142 is now back down to 108.091. They were like, oops, I overpaid. And the reason why we didn't overpay though is because we used that graph. So right over here we've got this. I'm actually gonna have to this is so annoying. Actually, I'm just gonna leave it there. We'll just leave it there. If we don't need the slot, a lot of times I will just leave it there, and then I'll buy something else and then collect this in a second. So, and it's kind of cool. Now we can see we've made our 200k profit so far. So if we go over here and then we were to buy something else, we're gonna buy Dragon Hunter crossbow. And like I said, you could easily just sit there and flip some more Dragon Claws. You know, like you can go through all 8 Dragon Claws. You guys can be doing it right now if you want to, since I'm not gonna do any more of them. So that way you can make 200k per Dragon Claw. That's 1.6 million profit. If you were to swap that over to RS3, if you're mainly an RS3 player, that's a pretty good profit. That is better than like the margin is better than quite a few things in RS3. So, and it's much faster. It took us a grand total between buy and sell of about 3 minutes to be able to flip that for 200,000 coins. So if you did that 20 times in 1 hour, you're looking at 4 million profit in 1 hour just by going by items that are that fast. So over like, let's say 10 hours of flipping, not saying you're doing that straight, but if you were doing 10 hours of flipping, that's a 40 million flip day in only items like Dragon Claws. And there are definitely things better than Dragon Claws. So you get the idea of how it can be really, really profitable to flip an old school RuneScape. And it's also really fast and fun. Okay. We got Dragon Hunter crossbow though. Let's see if we can get one of these to work for us. So, okay, we're going to go and close this. We just had a refresh, so these are going to be pretty fresh prices. This is zoomed in. If you ever come down, you're like, what's going on? There's no graph. You're just zoomed in. So double click on the graph, it'll unzoom. Okay, we got some worrying looking things here. I don't like when things dramatically change in price within the hour. I don't like that at all, because things can also dramatically fall back down. But we'll try it. Why not? So if you look right here, we've got our recent buy price. Looks like to be about 58 million, and a recent high price sale of like 58.3. That is not a good enough margin. If we look up here, okay, it doesn't show that. It shows a random number like I was mentioning before. So what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to buy this for lower, because we can't make money if we use this margin right here. If we're using this margin, we can make some money, but there's no money to be made right here. So what we need to do is we need to go and look at our prices over here and try to get a better price. Due to the fact that we can see right here there was a dramatic shift in the price of the item, then I am going to assume that the item is probably going to shift back downwards. That's the safest guess right now, okay? We could be wrong, but at least we're not going to lose money if we're wrong. We could lose money if we're wrong if we go the other direction. So let's start with the safe direction, right? So if we look right here, let's go over here and just try to buy this for like barely over mid. Yeah, 57,702. And now we can go ahead. I'll just leave it there. We'll just be kind of there is our first flip together, everyone. Oh my god, so sweet. So let's see if we can get this Dragon Hunter crossbow. If I click it, by the way, it'll come up over here, and then we can see kind of like what some of the most recent stuff was. Ooh, a wiki instant sell for 57.2. Maybe, you know what? I like the idea of being safe on Dragon Hunter crossbow, and if I see there's a recent wiki undersell of 57, let's do 57 to 11. All right, we're gonna shift it a little bit. The reason why I'm gonna shift a little bit, I'll explain while we wait for this to hopefully buy. So as you saw with the graphs, this number, this 57.2, is not on that graph of recent sale, but apparently somebody instantly sold one for this price very recently. So since most people don't look at the graph and they look at this wiki price right here, then that's a safe bet that everyone is going to pull back their offers also, and they're going to try to buy it now for lower, and they're going to try to buy it for close to that 57.2. Now, I'm doing like an 11,000 cut over that of that wiki insta sell right there. And you don't need to do 11,000. You can do like just like 2,000 or whatever is totally fine. I'm just being a little bit more aggressive with my offers because I'm not flipping with anybody right now. Like I'm not flipping in our Discord server, so I'm not screwing anybody over. And then also too, I'm just trying to be aggressive because I want to try to get these items moving and show you guys how they work. So if you are sitting there being patient and not on a live stream, then you could definitely do a lower cut and probably be successful with it. But if we do get a sale, we'll be looking at 58.490, which is not bad at all. Not bad at all. It looks like and now this just shifted to 58 million. That's confusing. So what we can do is we can go right back. This is a good thing to show you, by the way. It's a good thing this one's a little bit of a struggle, because this is how flipping works in old school RuneScape. It's not always cut and clear. It's not always like, oh, this is the price it should be. It's not always like RS3. Okay, look, 57,270 is now our graph price. That 58 was a random number in between. It was just some random dude. 57,302. We're going to do 57,3. Now, if we still would have been offering 57.7 like we were before, we would have probably bought it for way too much. That is why it is a really good idea to constantly be looking at that RS wiki live graphs. It's really, really important to continue checking these numbers. Oh god, I guess you can't highlight them, but these numbers right here, and also that graph. You want to be looking at those items. You want to be looking at those graphs as much as you possibly can, especially on an item that is shifting a lot, like this one right here. Now we got 57,711. It was just 58 million. That is based to the price that we offered a second ago. Is this one of you guys? Did one of you guys just pay that much money for a Dragon Hunter crossbow? I wouldn't even doubt it. Because that number is way too close to what we had. But I'm going to sit here at 57,302, and we're going to see if we get a Dragon Hunter crossbow. What we'll do is we'll go ahead and move on to another item while we do that, because I'm going to let that one sit there and cook a second, because I think that we're going to have a little bit of action around here. We'll see where that goes. So let's go back up here. I'm going to go ahead and save this to my favorites. We're going to go back up here. Because remember, if you go to your favorites... oh, why is this... I see. Okay. It's because the screen's like a weird size, because I want to make sure you guys can see it. Okay, so there we go right there. We've got our two items that we saved in here in the OSRS wiki, which is so awesome they have this, by the way. But our items are saved right here, so at any time when I click on my favorites, I can just go right here and click on this and then go right back to it. So I'm like, oh, I want to see this Dragon Hunter crossbow. Did the price finally move? Hey, look, 57,312, 222. Looks like we are just below what that price should be. Remember how I said, just keep checking. 57,315. We'll go cut it by roughly 2 or 3K. And then we're going to try to buy it. Once again, I'm not paying that super high price. There we go. There. Now this is updated to the same price as the other one. So now let's go ahead and let's find something else to flip while we wait for this Dragon Hunter crossbow, if I'm ever able to get off this page, because we keep going back to check it. But hey, it's whatever. It's whatever. Sometimes it happens. Let's do something a little bit more expensive. Let's go for a Torva piece, maybe. So Torva pieces can be a pain in the butt, and they can also be really good. Let's see what they look like right now, though. So we've got Torva. This is not good, because this is roughly a 4 million tax. So we do not want to pay... Oh, I guess I can see that when it lights up over here. But we do not want to pay these prices, because we will make no money, because that is not a profit. And I really wish this page would start telling you what your actual what your actual margin is, because it's not accurate with the tax. Come on, guys. Please update. Okay, oh boy, this is a graph. Let me tell you. This is a graph. Why? Oh, okay. I guess it's just not moving much. I guess that is the graph. Huh. This would explain things. So what I would probably do when I see this is I would not be using this green line, that's for sure. And I might use this yellow line. So what I'm probably going to try to do is probably go something above this number right here. So 389, 975. I'm probably going to be like 390. and that'd be a 550K margin, which I think is probably going to be pretty accurate. So, because that's what you usually get on a Torva body is something around 500K, all the way up to like 1.5 million, but it can be, the average is more something around 500K. And look, there we go. We got 390, 250. Look at that. Look at that. See, this is what I'm telling you. That price is very commonly traded. That was like almost the same price that I just mentioned a second ago. So as you can see, use the graphs, guys. Use the graphs. And also, if you guys have any questions about anything we're doing, just feel free to fire away. So, all right, I'm gonna try that 390, 251 too. We're gonna try it. I'm worried about this price. I'm gonna be real with you. Looks like 394, 666. Okay, you know what? I can't do it. We're going to start a little bit lower. We're going to start doing 390 because I don't trust these numbers at all on this Torva plate body. Normally, if it was me flipping on here, and I saw that weird ass graph for Torva plate body, I would probably skip over it and come back to it in like 10 or 15 minutes and see if the graph looks better. That's what I would usually do. But I'm going to take the challenge here for the stream and the video so we can see what we can do with it. Okay, looks like 57,315 is not pulling. So by now it would have bought, because I know all of the I know pretty much all of the timers for these. Dragon Hunter, which will be on our spreadsheet, by the way. So 57,351. We're gonna do 57,351, and we'll go, because obviously this buy is creeping up. I want to keep an eye on this 39275. As you can see right here, the profit is like negative 2.1 million. So if I want to try to clear our at least 500K margin, then I need to be at something around like 390. So we'll see. So the margins on items on old school RuneScape are much smaller than an RS3. Yes, in general they are. Yes. So as you see, we've had an item that's like 50 mil, and this margin honestly could end up being a pretty good margin if we get a buy here. We could actually make like 500K on these if it's successful. So that could be really good. But the items that are around 50-ish million are usually something like a 100 to 300K margin. As you saw, the Dragon Claw over here was 200K margin. Sometimes you can get to like 300 or 400K on these, but I would say the average on Dragon Claws is like 250. But it's okay though, because they go really fast. And then on the Torva plate body, the average margin is anywhere from 500K to like 1.5 million. I have gotten like a 4 mil flip on a Torva plate body before, but the way I did that was because I probably, oh yeah, I think I did that 2 million like once. I've done the 1.4, 1.3, whatever, 1.5 several times. But the way I get those margins, by the way, is because what I will do is I will look at the graph. Let me show you that graph one more time. So if we look at this graph, so let's look at this. You see this number way down here where it's like 387, and then it also came back to 387 again, but everything else is way higher. And then the price up here was like 394. And then we got a number over here, it's like 395 basically. So what I would do sometimes, and this is a good strategy if you want to be really safe about it, is I would just put it for that super low ball over here of like 387, like 3873, because then when you sell it, it's going for it's going for like 395. You're gonna make a fat margin. Like that is like I'm not gonna math out the tax, but that's probably like pretty damn close to 5 million profit. It's probably like 4 million or something like that. I don't know. I'm not gonna math it right now, but it's a big chunk of change that's much higher than the average margin right there. Coach Main, hello, just YouTube stream. Yeah. So I don't know why, but for some reason when I went on to Twitch, it wasn't working. We tried to do Twitch and YouTube, but for some reason the Twitch one it was just black screening. I have no idea. Maybe it's because I was multi-streaming and didn't like it. I don't know. So yeah, we're just on YouTube right now. And also, yeah, there's no sound on it because like my CPU is like, it's like dead. In a day or two, I'm going to be shipping my computer in and getting the warranty to fix the CPU. That's why we haven't had any videos. It's not because I don't want to make videos. It's because my CPU is like dead and I literally cannot edit. So that's one of the reasons why we're doing a live stream, is because I can record our live stream and then I can post it up there just like lightly edited. Okay, so this is just going back up again, but then we have an instant buy at 57. What is going on with these prices, man? An instant buy at mid? Okay. I'm going to avoid the Dragon Hunter crossbow for right now. When we were looking at the graph for the Dragon Hunter crossbow, remember how I was like, it goes way up and then it can come down? I have a feeling it's just going to come straight down. And when it does that, on an item that doesn't usually have a very big margin, you're probably just going to be eating everyone else's losses. So I'm just going to avoid that for right now. We will keep cooking on a Torva plate body. Our Dragon Claws, we flipped that. For anybody who's just now joining, we flipped this thing in like 3 minutes. It was awesome. Like the buy and the sell in 3 minutes. So fantastic. And we were doing like a little bit of a risk on the Dragon Hunter crossbow, but if we see things that are not working out perfectly, it's a great time for that to happen, honestly, because now I can kind of help to like navigate you guys through that situation. Like if it was all easy, you know, then you'd have a hard time when you found the difficult items. So when I see that happen on Dragon Hunter crossbow, which there's an instant buy at the mid, and then we were trying to buy just below that, I'm just out. I'm out, and I'm gonna let the item just chill out for a minute, and then maybe I'll come back around to it. We saw the graph how it like went whip way up in like an hour, and it's probably just going to come straight back down. So that's not where you don't want to be in the way of the boulder falling down the mountain. Also too, Mike, when it comes to and I am going to answer everybody's questions too. Mike, when it comes to answering your question about the margins on OSRS being much smaller, they are much smaller, but you have to remember that OSRS GP is worth a lot more than RS3 GP. So if you were mainly an RS3 player, then you can swap the gold you make. Like we saw like at the speed and margin of the Dragon Claws, that would make you about 4 million per hour on just an item like Dragon Claws, nothing else. So if you're making 4 million per hour, and let's say you were swapping the gold over for like, let's say the swap at the time was like 10. I don't know. We'll just give you like a random number. Oh, did you bring me a drink?
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Love. Anything else?
No, I'm good. Thanks. So if let's just say, like I have to look to see what the exact rates are for swapping right now, but let's just say that it was 1 to 10. If it's 1 to 10, then if you make 4 million an hour doing OSRS flipping, then that is a 40 million hour on RS3. So like even though the numbers are smaller, they end up being about the same kind of profit that you would make flipping an RS3. Like flipping an RS3, 40 million an hour is pretty normal. So it's pretty comparable. What I can say though is that if you were to be over here flipping like T-bows and all kinds of stuff like here, we'll type in like a twisted bow. I'm not gonna do one. I'm not gonna. I do flip T-bows and I love flipping them. I love flipping Tumekin. It's a lot of fun. These are a blast. They get your adrenaline going because you think you're gonna lose money, but then you don't. You just make a ton, or you lose your ass. I don't know. It goes either way. But most I would say that I've definitely earned far more than I've lost on T-bows and stuff like that. But the reason why I'm mentioning this is because usually if I'm flipping T-bows, I'm aiming for a nothing less than 1 million margin. Sometimes I'll be like, the margins just suck today and it's 800K, but that's rare. On other days, it's like 2.5, 3 million profit per bow. And that's not trying to do any kind of cool graph tricks where you're just trying to buy the dip or whatever. That's just buying and selling at the average margin. So, or like at the average prices. So if you're able to do 8 of them for every 4 hours, and let's say you make, let's say it averages out at 2 million. That is 16 million you'll make on just T-bow. And if you swapped your gold for, let's say 10, I'm just using it as an example, that means you make 160 million gold in RS3 from flipping just a set of T-bows. So if you did that twice a day, that's 320 million from just T-bows. So as you can see, if you're like, oh, you know, I'm considering playing both games, I'm considering flipping on both games, it is a very big advantage to be able to flip on both games because that's one slot that can make you that money. You have all the other 7 slots. Let's see. The spreadsheet you were talking about, is this going to be released in the free section Discord or will be attached to the Patreon levels? So for old school RuneScape, it's going to be the same thing as our RS3. So if you have experience in our RS3 Discord server right now, we actually do have old school RuneScape flipping section there too. But it's going to be the exact same. So you're going to have the free open sections where everyone can just flip together. We'll post prices, all that kind of stuff. You guys can just flip and everything. And the free sections like the RS3. And then there's also going to be the Patreon tiers for the old school RuneScape sections. And so it's the exact same. What I can tell you though is the spreadsheets for the OSRS sections are much more advanced because, as you can see, the flipping is more advanced. So it goes even more into depth in those items too. So reminder that the IRS is not allowed to tell you how much you owe them. I know, it's like the biggest crap. I know, right? Haven't played RS3 in a while because of hard drive issues. That's me, man. I'm having CPU issues. That's why we haven't had very many videos coming out right now. That's why I'm like, okay, just screw it. Even though my camera's like choppy FPS, I have a really nice camera and it is not this bad a quality, I promise you. It's because of the CPU just doesn't want to process it. So I'm just like, screw it. We'll just deal with no music. I'll just come on here and just try to show you, just try to have a good time on the video with you guys, even though I'll just cry myself through it. But my CPU is being shipped off. My computer is being shipped off because they want the whole thing back within a day or two. And then it'll come back in a few weeks and then I'll be able to be all good to go. But I'm going to try to use my laptop after this computer is gone, by the way. My laptop is also a 4080 with an i9 in it. So I'm going to try to use my laptop and attempt to video on that, but we will see how that goes. No promises, but I will try. I guess I could play old school RuneScape maybe while I wait to fix computer issues, but the only problem is I don't want to use a bond yet, so what's good free to play? I mean, if you're brand new to old school RuneScape, you can definitely go and like run around and just train up on some trees and crap like you would on RS3. When it comes to flipping an old school RuneScape, you're pretty limited when it comes to profits on old school RuneScape flipping. I'm not gonna lie to you. The old school RuneScape profit for free to play is bad. On RS3, you can make some pretty good money as free to play, but old school RuneScape, you're gonna be scraping the bucket. Like, it's gonna be like, you would probably just want to whip out your credit card or steal your neighbor's money and just buy a bond or whatever, buy a membership. You're gonna have a much better time. And even if you have to like evade the police because you robbed the bank for a bond, it's gonna be worth it. It's gonna be worth all that effort, I promise you. Items to flip right now on old school RuneScape. There's a ton of things, my friend, a ton of things. If you're talking about for free to play though, you're gonna have a pretty damn short list. But try like some. Oh, what's up, boy? Sorry, hang on a second, guys. Ha. That's what I'm talking about. Remember how? Okay, we'll come back to your questions in the comments. I will come back to them in 1 second. But what is up? We got that Torva plate body. It's so exciting when you can make that low ball offer and you'll sometimes will get it. Okay, there we go. 394588 is probably where we're gonna be. I'm not gonna lie. So 394579K. And there we go. We will get a 633K margin, assuming this thing sells. This is below our graph. It's also below the Wiki Instabuy, and we bought it for 2.75 million, below what this says. What is up, guys? I can't express enough, my dudes, that you need to make sure you use those graphs and try to make an educated guess on where your prices are going to be. And that's part of why it's so much fun flipping an old school RuneScape. So look right here. You probably could just sit here and try doing the 387 if you really wanted to. And maybe it would fill and you make a baller amount of money when it does. But what we did is we went even lower than the 39. Look at that. 394, 392. Like, we went lower than all of that. And we went for like as low as we oh my god, sorry. I'm looking at the wrong number. Okay, so right here, 3885. But the numbers we were looking at originally was like, you know, it was like way up here. It was like too high. And then the graph up here was like, it was showing like way too weird prices. Now it has our price on here because we're the kings. But anyway, all the prices were way too high. This thing was saying 392.75. Like, you don't want to do that. If you do that, you're just going to lose money. So assuming that our Torva plate body here sells, we will make a cool 633,000 because we bought it for 390 flat. And just in case we have to adjust our price a little bit, which does often happen, we should still be clearing that 500K that we had the goal for, given what the margins look like at the time. I can't try to push Torva plate body for like 1.4 mil profit like I will sometimes if the graph looks like it does currently. So you just kind of gotta go with what's up, with like what you see. Can you give some tips for high volume flips, maybe overnight or long-term investment high volume flips? Are you talking about for old school RuneScape, Steve? Just clarify for me real quick because I've been talking about both. So is that what you're talking about? Coach Main, what's the ratio right now? it wildly varies. There's a lot of swappers that are going anywhere from like 1.6, so like a 1 OSRS to 6 RS3. There's some that are going to like 1 ORS to 8 or whatever. It's something right around there. If you guys see numbers that are dramatically better than that, like if somebody's offering you like 1 to 12 or something, then just don't do it, because it's not going to work out too well for you. It's probably a scam. But it's something under 10 right now. I would have to like look and dig through all my resources to be able to figure that out to give you an accurate number. Hey Manti, it's been a while. How you been doing? Hey, what's up, Hayden? I'm doing great, dude. Except for my CPU dying, which you probably heard about in here. I mean, that part sucks, but besides that, doing good. I wish I could play more. I wish I could make more videos. I miss it. Coach Main for 500 million RS3 to OS 40 mil OSRS. 500 million. Here, let me just see what that would be if you were to swap like with us right this second. Our swaps are closed for the evening though, because we do usually stop swapping at right around like 4 or 5-ish PST, unless you reach out to me and be like, hey bro, I cannot make that time. Let's see, right now today that would be, yes, roughly 40 million. It'd be 38.5 million is what that would be right now. Also, too, I'm not trying to advertise the swaps here because I don't really benefit that much from the swaps. I do make a small amount of money because usually what I will do is I will swap, pick up a lot of one currency and just wait for it to move in the other direction. I don't charge people like a crazy swap difference in order to make bazillions like some people try to do. It's just not really what I do. So I'm not really trying to advertise this, but our swap rates do change like basically every day. So if you just have to reach out and ask me, all you gotta do is go in our Discord server, go to swap tickets, and then when you have a swap ticket and you open a swap ticket, you need to say how much you want to swap and from which game to which game. You can't just be like, what's today's price? We don't answer what today's price is because we'd be answering that like 100 times a day and it would get really annoying. So we're only basically will let you know what swap rates are when you're ready to swap, because that saves you and I both time. And also too, if you were to ask me how much the price was like right now, if you were to ask me what the swap rate is, tomorrow that rate might be different. And then you'd be like, but I thought you said the number was blah, blah, blah. And then yeah, then we're going in circles. So it's not beneficial for either one of us for people to just ask what the rates are. That's for that. It's why I'm watching this video, to consider flipping both versions. Yeah, I mean, look, I've been flipping on old school RuneScape since 2013. I've been flipping on RS3 since you could flip on RS3 basically. Like it's weird and kind of cool to say this, but I created most of the flipping strategies that people use in RS3. Like most of the flipping strategies that are in the game right now that people will commonly use, and they'll just be like, there's this common strategy of like using ladder flipping where you put in like 7 different offers and blah 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 blah. They don't have any idea where that came from. But I created that method is because like a long time ago when we first had those flipping clans, the merch clans and everything like that, I was like the second in, like, I don't remember what ranks we had, like the general or whatever, but I was like the second in command kind of person for like the biggest merch clan in RuneScape. We did not scam people. I would just like to be clear on that one. It was not a pump and dump clan. What we did is we posted prices just like I do in the Discord server. So yes, but anyway, the point of me saying all that about my background is that it is very fun to flip in both games. I love RS3 flipping because it's chill, it's laid back. You can put a price in. You don't have to update it that often. And then when I want to like really flip and have fun with it, not much gets more fun than OSRS. I'll tell you that. Okay, this is not sold yet, so I'm gonna bump this down. 3949454. So 394549. Okay. And I am being far more aggressive with my updates and offers and prices right now, just because I want to just make sure that, like, you know, we get these flips going on the stream here. You can definitely update by less. Like I just dropped it by what, like 30K. You could drop it by like 10 or whatever, or maybe 20. On an item like this, you're gonna probably want to drop it for like a little bit more because it is a 400 mil item, but We haven't seen any movement over here on this Insta buy on the wiki. If we look at the graph, maybe we'd see something different. But we haven't seen anything move over here, so we don't have any reason to like really go fast on the dipping of the price. So I think we're pretty safe. But we'll see. We'll see if it goes. Now, if this sells, we'll make 603,000. Well, 600,000 because we paid at 3 over. So we'll still make 600K if that moves. It's gonna be great. Let's see. LOL, yeah, bro. I got new RAM sticks, 8 gig each, and put those in. I got a brand new SSD and just need to clone it. I don't know how to do it. I can't figure out how to get Windows on it. I'll tell you what. Software is not something I enjoy. Hardware is fine. I don't enjoy software. I don't enjoy like installing a bunch of crap and getting things to work with each other. I hate it. I hate like everything like being compatible with each other. It's so annoying. So yeah, have fun with that. I would enjoy the RAM sticks part in the SSD. Never my computer off my new drive. Do it. Dancing for money is a time-honored tradition. There you go. Wow, that Torva nice. Oh, that was a while ago you said that, but heck yeah, dude. It was like, did you? It was a misclick you're talking about for the ticket. You open up one of those. And OSRS high volume. Like, what is good for OSRS high volume? I definitely have some things I can recommend. So let's and sorry if I was catching up on the chat. We had a lot of things there, and I was also talking way too much. Let's do Super Restores. And I'm going to do Super Restore 3s because Super Restore 3s move faster than Super Restore 1s. Or, sorry, 4s and also 1s. So I'm going to go ahead and buy one of these real quick, and we're just going to price check this. On items that are this cheap, I would just insta buy, insta sell, and get like what we got. So if we look over here, we got last insta sell 76.01. We've got last insta buy 76.24. That is not a good profit. It's bad, actually. Let me go ahead and look at our graph, and let's just see. So initially, it looks like crap. Oh, look at this. Is Torva about to be a pain in my butt? Okay. You see how this right here, look, last thing before we hop over to that thing. You see how this says 390, this says 390. People would be like, oh my God, I'm losing all my money, blah. Don't panic if you see that, because if you look over here, the low price in the graph is still 390. These prices are still up here at 394, 588. There's nobody that has done anything different, right? So we don't have any reason to like freak out. And then if we look over here too, the lowest high sell we've even seen, so the lowest high price has been that 390, but then it popped right back up. So I'm not even sweating this at all. If you flip something like Torva, I will let you know that this right here, where it randomly just bottoms out on the buy and sell, that happens a lot. So don't freak out if you decide to flip something like Torva and you're like, I'm gonna lose all my money. You're probably not. So Super Restore 3. Okay, we're gonna zoom out. All right, so let's see. Right now, the time on this is 2030. We're gonna what I want to do is I want to go to 19. Okay, so give me 1 second, guys. One really quick second, really quick restroom break. 1 sec. I have a restroom in my office, so just 1 second. All right, I'm back. Super close. This new house is awesome, by the way. So I moved. If you like watch my like much older content, you see that I was like living in a different state in a much smaller place. This is like an actual house. We have 2 offices in here, restroom in the office. It's badass. We ain't gotta go very far. Dying though. Okay. So we look at our Super Restore potions. We can see right here that what we are seeing of how these numbers are really close. But if you look right here and we see this 75.67, then we also see like 75.60. I'm going to try 75.68 on this Super Restore. So I'm not going to use the most, I'm not even going to use the price check I just did. Now this may or may not work because if the item is, oops, that's the wrong one. If this may or may not work because the item might be kind of bouncing up right now, which means that that price we got will become the new price, that's 7,600-ish, and then maybe they'll go to 7,700 or whatever. But we're gonna do 75.72. And if you look right here, the actively traded price is at that too. So I think this might just be like a little bit of an outlier. But let's just go ahead and do 100 of them. That way they move fast, hopefully. And then that is what I would do for the high volume. I would just look at the graph, and if my margin looks too tight, I'm not going to make any money, then I'm going to go and I'm going to look at that graph. That way I can try to make some money, because we want to make some money on our flips, right? We don't want to lose money. And there is a 2,000 buy limit on those, so if you wanted to, you could just like do those for less. Oh no, that's not a good sign when our instant sell is dropping. That's not a good sign. This does happen on old school RuneScape, let me tell you. So it is a risky game at times. All right, so we'd make. I'm gonna more aggressively drop this, because that is not what we want to see right there. We'll try this. We'll try 394, 350. Hopefully it'll pop back up and we'll get that sale really quick. But this I don't like to see. I don't like to see that bottom number going lower than the previous. There we go. There we go though. We aggressively updated it. We did not panic, right? Because a panic would be like, oh no, this is going down, and the other buy price showed us like 390, and even this one right here, 394, 332, we didn't even go below that. We just stayed calm, and we dropped it a little bit more aggressively, but we didn't freak out. And now we just made 402,000 profit on that Torva plate body. But as you can see, it can be a little bit nerve-wracking if you're not experienced in doing the flips, because it can look like you're about to lose a lot of money, right? And that's not, yeah, it can look like that. And look at that, super restores, now they're buying. Look, it's like magic, guys. We're just making up numbers over here. So we go to Torva, and I'm gonna, you know what, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna double down. 389, 181. So I know that somebody got a lucky instant buy, or sorry, lucky non-instant buy, or someone just like sold it and that was the highest offer at the time. But there's money to be made there, guys, because if we get another sale right here, we're going to increase our next flip's profit by a lot. So I'm going to try it. I'm going to give it a go. We're going to let that sit there and cook for a second. We'll see if we make some money on that. And there we go. Super Restore is now in. Okay. So we got that Super Restore. We're going to pop that Super Restore back in there. So 7624 was our price that we instant bought a second ago. Let's see. What did we pay? We paid 75.72. Yeah, 75.72. Uh-oh. Are we not going to make any money on these with even this profit? Or sorry, even this price? We got to go a little higher. 76.79. All right, we'll do that. We're gonna try this. So let's see what we paid. We paid 75.72, so 757,200, and we're gonna sell it and make a very small amount of coin. But remember though that we're only doing 100 of these. If you were to do like 2,000 of these, it'd be a lot more money. So you'd make like 60K. It's not great. It's not great, but oftentimes the margin is even better than this. You'll be buying them for like the 75, 35 or whatever, and then selling them up here like this, and that's a much better margin. We may have overpaid on our Super Restores. I'm actually curious now. If we overpaid, because I went below the graph, and then I went over here because this number was below the graph. So I'm gonna try to buy 1,000 of these bad boys at that like just above mid. And this is another strategy you can use too, where you're like, I think I might have overpaid a little bit. And it's good that we started with 100 of them, because starting with 100 of them, if we realize we might have made a little bit of a mistake, like, well, we left money on the table, then we can correct it by buying the other 1900 at a better price. So if you, that is something I would maybe recommend that you do, especially while you're learning, is that if you're just like, okay, I'm not quite sure if that's the best price because that graph was a little wacky looking, then maybe just do a smaller number and then just kind of work with that. I would probably recommend doing at least 100 though, and not like 10, because you could just get like a really lucky buy and pick up 10. It takes a little bit more actual successful flip in order to pick up at least 100 of them. So can I see your flipping stats on Rune Light, please? Oh, you mean like for today? So I've been mostly talking and looking at graphs and stuff. We haven't flipped that many things. So like we've made about 600K. That's it. Also too, I've been price checking a few things. So yeah, anyway, we haven't made that much money because it's mostly been like tutorial of walking people through how to use everything and using the graphs and everything. So we haven't made that much money yet. We flipped this Dragon Claws for 200,000 for like 195,000 profit, and that took about 3 minutes. And then our Torva plate body. How long did that take us for the Torva plate body? I can't see it now, but I'd say that Torva plate body took us like 6 minutes, 7 minutes, something like that, and we made 402,000 there. So in a grand total of about 10 minutes and only using 2 slots. And also, Torva plate body was in a really weird place. We made about 600,000 coins in like the 10 minutes. So it's nothing crazy, but given how difficult it was to read Torva plate body, I'd say it was not bad. All right, 389. We're gonna do 3893 on another Torva plate body. I also really need to make up for the 10 million gold I just lost on my fletching supplies. So let's make back that 10 million, guys. Yeah, kind of like I mentioned before, every single time that I buy fletching supplies, they tank. So I bought 10,000 Dragon Bolts. I bought more than this, but this is what I have left. And now they just went down by like 130 each or whatever. God damn it. Like every single time I buy fletching supplies, my dudes, it happens every single time. I swear. Every single time. So anyway, I lost like 10 million on these. So we'll try to make our 10 million back. I mostly do Dragon Bolts and Amethyst Arrows in order to do like fletching whenever I do fletching. I don't, as you can see, I'm very casual at playing the game, but I've been flipping on here since 2013. I just, actually for quite literally like probably 12 of those 13 years, I only did flipping. I didn't do any playing the game, so. And I think maybe at one point I did some woodcutting and that was it. Oh, we got a vial and an iron arrow. Heck yeah. So we go back in here. Let's hope that one of these things moves. And we can also go ahead and pull out another item too in a second. Actually, I'm gonna go ahead and do it. Let's do Bow of Ferdinand. Ferdheinen. I don't even know how to actually say this at all, but Bow of Fair. Bofa. So we've got 135, 935 is the actively traded price. So it's going much below. We've got 135, 230 with a instant buy at that. It's just showing a potential profit of 574, which is the average margin on the BOF. So what we need to do, what we've learned, guys, what are we doing next? Who knows? Who knows what we're doing next? We're looking at the damn graph. That's right. Awesome. You guys are so smart. Bow of Ferdinand. Ferdheinen. Okay, we're going to come down here and double click. And then we're going to zoom in on the most recent. And then that way we can see what magic is happening. So 135, 177 is clearly going to be our buy low price. So 135, 177, 135, 232. And if you're like, where'd you get 232 if we just said 177? So when I click on bow and I look over here, we got 135, 230. So what chances are what happened is is that somebody else saw that 135, 177 and put a buy offer in for the 135, 230 because they felt like just being a overachiever and just putting 60,000 gold above the price. But hey, this is most likely to be the most recent price. It looks like that was about 3.5 minutes ago. So our most recent price is probably something closer to this and not that 177. So we're going to start here, and then hopefully make some money here. We're hopefully going to buy this bow, and then flip it. So it looks like the wiki insta buy was right there. If we were to pay this price, we'd only make 200,000. I'm going to try to bounce this back up to where we were over here, which was that 135,858. Yeah. Oh wait. No. Wait. 136,8. 136,912. Okay. It looks like it's definitely shifting. It's definitely shifting. We might be able to go lower than this. But we will make roughly 200, maybe 300,000 if we do that 136.9 something. So we'll see how it goes. We'll let this first one sit here. If I was like flipping on my own, because I just want to let you guys know what I would normally do flipping, because that's the whole point of this stream video, is that I would probably just like put this lower. I'd probably put it like 135 or something like that, and then just be patient with it. If it didn't fill, then I'd go back over and click it again after I'd like put some other offers in. But since we are trying to make this work while on stream, and oh, that Torva plate body, what's up? Woo! Oh yeah. 394,329. The reason why I'm doing 394,329 and not this number again is because the previous number that was up here was lower than our number, and I bet you money that the people who are skilled at flipping are going to be going back down to that 394,330 number. So I want to be below that 394,330 number. This is what it looks like when you are trying to like get a good margin on something, is that you have to like not look at the obvious, and you have to like think like a little step ahead. But it makes it's hard, but it makes it really fun, because you're like constantly doing things where it's not, you know, let's say in RuneScape 3, while we let these prices sit here for a second, in RuneScape 3, if I was going to be like, okay, I'm going to flip like a, I don't know, a Nox Scythe. And then we've posted in the Discord flipping section of Nox Scythe buy 310 million, and then Nox Scythe sell 320 million. It's most likely not going to change much from those two prices. You can't just be like, oh, you know what? Let's try 305 because I think that people are going to end up selling some more. Like, it's just not going to work. Like, every once in a blue moon, it will work. Maybe if the price very recently changed, it might work. But most likely, it's not going to work. So you're kind of like stuck doing like a very small stretch of like a couple 100,000, maybe a million. But on this game, you can like really get creative with it. So let's see how this goes. So we did pay, what did we pay? 389,301, which there we go. That just got updated. By the way, if you want to go in stealth mode on this game, and you do not want your prices that you are using to be reported to the wiki and everything, then all you have to do is just not use the RuneLite browser. So like the RuneLite, you can just use the regular one. Just use like the Jagex one, the Jagex launcher, and then that way you like your price won't pop up here because this is being pulled from the RuneLite API. So keep that in mind though. Also, when you're flipping items, a lot of the really good flippers will not use RuneLite. They will use the regular app, because that way they are just under the radar. Like if you're flipping Tumekin Shadow, for example, if we type in Tumekin Shadow, and this is something I will do too. Look how these two prices are super close together. You can't make money with these two prices. And I almost guarantee, look, now you can. Look at that. There, prime example. Should we try one of these Tumekin Shadows? I kind of want to go for it. Screw it. Let's do it. That's a juicy margin. 14, 15, 601. Boop. Let's see. I know I said that I wasn't gonna do like a Shadow or a Tebow, but we'll try it. That was just the timing was too good, because it just now updated to this right here is probably the actual really good margin. The other numbers we had was probably based on people using basically stealth flipping of not having their prices reported. So that's why it looked like the buys and sells were so close to each other. Is probably just the only things being reported at the time were the ones through RuneLite. So if we successfully get a flip here using these numbers exactly, then we will be able to make 2.9 million profit on one flip, which would be pretty awesome. I have actually several times flipped like Tumekin Shadow in like I don't know, 2 minutes and made like 3 or 4 million. So like it is definitely it's possible for it to go quickly. We'll see how quickly this goes though. If I go down here and use my graph again, let's move that out of the way. We can go ahead and okay. It looks like it's definitely on the downward trend. So let's keep that in mind. We don't really want to push this price on our buy too much. And then we look right here. We can see that we had a 650. And then we've got that 14, 15, 5, 67. So our 14, 601 should definitely fill. Our 14, 15, 601 should definitely fill. We'll see if it does. The sell is really stable. It's very, very stable actually. We had like a little bit of a dip here that was 55 minutes ago. So in the last 55 minutes, the sale has been super steady. So people trying to figure out the buy over here, it's not really, this doesn't look like something to worry about because we got 55 minutes of very solid sale, no dip. And then before that, it was even longer before a dip. So even if we have a dip, let's see what that dip was, because it's good to know when you're flipping an item like this. You need to know that kind of stuff. That dip was, let's see, 14.25.4 down to, okay, so like 1.4 mil. That was, so it dropped off by, because I won't use this one because it's stabilized. It dropped off by basically 1.4 mil. So even if it dropped on us by 1.4 million, we'd still be looking at 1.5 million profit. So we don't have to worry about it at all. Oops. Sorry, I'm going to smack the microphone. So essentially, we don't have much to lose here if we do successfully pick this up for 14, 15, 6. Hopefully we get it. There was definitely lower buys, so this should fill. And we haven't sold this off yet, so I'm gonna drop this down 394. 39429. Yeah, we'll do 279k. I want to be a little more aggressive on those sales because we already know that this item is trending downwards. The buy has dropped by basically 700,000 since our last flip on it, so these numbers are probably just catching up a little bit. Mike says, are you in Manty's Discord? Specs Music would rather take this chat out of here, try to help you so it's not distracting from the stream. I mean, you're fine. You guys are fine. I don't care. Like, there's not a whole lot of chat going on right now, so you guys are totally good. On some of the days where we have like way more people in here, then yeah, it'd be like, yeah, you guys might be able to read it better for off somewhere else. But we have like a pretty low viewership right now because I haven't streamed too much. Once I get more actively back into streaming again, especially when the computer gets fixed, then we'll probably have a lot more people. We were having like an average of like something around like 80 to 150 people there for a while. It was nice. This bow is not buying. And then we're up to 136.6 in the sale. This is basically the same price. It's not looking good. This bow's not looking good. I'm going to keep it here for a little bit longer though, because I think this price might go up a little bit. But items are a little slow tonight. I'm gonna say they are definitely a little slow tonight. I'm just gonna get rid of these. I'm not too worried about making the profit on these, but what probably happened is there's just a really small margin on these. I don't usually like flipping high volume stuff. Someone asked for those. That's why I was like kind of posting it there, but I don't personally really enjoy flipping high volume stuff. Sometimes I will if it looks like specifically really good, but I mostly will stick to the items themselves, like the bigger items themselves. But if you guys have any questions, feel free to let me know. Also, too, if you want to join our RuneScape Discord server, we do have a RuneScape Discord server that is both old school RuneScape and RS3. It is mostly RS3 right now, but we do have old school RuneScape section in there, and then we are also going to be doing a lot of new old school RuneScape stuff in the Discord server. That does not mean that we are going to be putting the brakes we're not going to be like doing less RS3. We're just going to be doing both. People have been asking for it forever, and I have been waiting for I've been wanting to release it for like nearly 2 years now. People have probably gotten sick of me saying it's going to come soon, but the thing is, though, is the thing that I was trying to do, I just don't think it's going to be possible right now. So I was wanting to come out with just a really, really useful tool, and I just don't think it's going to be possible at the moment. So what I'm going to do is I'm probably going to go ahead and release the old school RuneScape content here real soon without that tool, and then I will just continue trying to make that tool possible, which I feel like I can do it. I gotta see. Maybe I can work with someone who does some dev stuff and see if we can get it done. But anyway, we'll see. But long story short, we are going to be releasing that, and then I will continue working to try to get that tech out there for everybody to use. So for someone who is interested in possibly getting into an OSRS flipping from nothing, how much gold would you suggest as minimum to get into OSRS flipping? It really depends on how fast you want to go. So as with RS3, the more money you have, the more money you can make. But I will say that, oh, 1 second, we got it. 1 sec. Let's get this thing in there right away. 14, 23, 390k. I'm going to get that in there real quick. 14, 18. Make sure I didn't typo it because I've done that before and lost like 5 mil, so let's not typo. All right. Put our shadow back in. I'm so happy that bought. Okay. So back to your question. It depends on how fast you want to go. On RS3, you can have a smaller amount of money and still make as much as, honestly, pretty close to as much as you would on having a larger amount of money. But on old school RuneScape, you will notice it far, far more. So what I would... Oh, dang, I was so close. 266, come on. All right, 394. Oh, so close in that price. We're making a ton of money if this buys, by the way. We'll make 1 million. Well, yeah, we'll make 1 mil. Which is nothing crazy for a Torva plate body, but it's definitely better than the first one we flipped at like 400k. So I would recommend. Here, Mike. Here. So how much would you be interested in making per day? I guess that is like probably the best question. And you can tell me in RS3 gold or old school RuneScape gold. Doesn't matter which one you say. I'll just convert it in my head. But like, how much would you like to make per day? Because if you have like 150 mil, then you can definitely clear like 5-10 million a day on here with that would probably be like your average day. And that would be not like extreme effort. That would just be like just super casually flipping. And okay, honestly, you could probably do like at least 10 with that. Like it just depends. If you have a short time flipping, 5 to 10 million. If you have like all day flipping, then 20 million would be pretty easy to do with even 150 mil. Let's just say at least 100 million per day in RS3. So 100 million per day in RS3. Let's just say that going by the conversions and stuff like that. I mean, actually, once again, that 150 number. Yeah, let's simplify this. I would suggest 150 mil in old school RuneScape in order to be able to efficiently flip. I think that's going to be the easiest way to answer your question. That will definitely convert to at least 100 million per day in RS3. It'd probably be more than that pretty easily. So I would say that 150 million in old school RuneScape is probably where you want to be if you want to start out having like a consistent, you're earning money that's worth your time. So that would make you be able to, if you're flipping every day and not all day kind of thing, then you could clear 3 billion a month in RS3 gold. So that is that. And the reason why I'd say 150 mil is because we have items like bow here, which is now going back up again. Okay, 321. Let's go ahead and just match this price. Let's go ahead and let's chase it a little bit while we wait for the shadow to sell. 135, 603. I'm gonna do it more conservatively because I don't think that item needs to be going super hardcore there. And once again, I'm not going to freak out about this now saying 1420 because the price dips and it goes up and down, dips low. And right now too, that if someone did sell us for 1420, they would lose 600,000 coins. So it's not realistic to think the next person is really going to try selling it for 1420. What I would probably do is do like 1423. We're going to drop our price down a little bit to follow that trend, but we're going to just keep it solid up here because I want to make money on this flip. But yeah, so with 150 million, that would be really good because you could do like bows, which this one's going really slow, but these normally are like consistent movers and will usually make you anywhere from 250 to 500k. Right now, this shows you 231k. Like you'll make at least this much in these bows, and you can flip 8 of them. So you're looking at like almost 2 million profit. Old school RuneScape by flipping. It should be at least 2 million profit by flipping eight of these bows, which you can do with 150. 2 million profit. You swap that over, you're already at like close to a fifth of your number you're trying to hit for the day. So off of one item, you do Dragon Claws in with that. Now you're like almost at a half of what you wanted to make in a day. So yeah, you'd very easily get up to a number you're trying to get to. Which if you were to swap would be roughly 2 billion RS3 to get started, around 150 in OSRS. Let me see, based on today's rates. And also, I don't think I can talk too much about like swap rates in here, because I think that was something that was like an offense thing on Twitch. So let's not talk about setting that up. But if you're interested in information about that, then you know where to look. Yeah, it'd be something close to that. Like today, that would be roughly that. Yes. Is there real-time price tools like this for RS3? No, there's not. The closest thing you've honestly got of having really good, accurate, man-made prices where you don't have to worry about fake prices or old prices or anything is actually our Discord server. I'm not just doing a shameless plug. Like, our Discord server was the first one to do that, and we've been doing it the best since we started. The other thing that got really close to it and was a really good tool was SudiBot, but SudiBot is now gone. So there is no good alternative. Flipaholics is a scammer. He actually used to be in my Discord server, and he was staff, and I banned him because of really shady crap. So, and then I had to give him a cease and desist because he was trying to copy and paste my shit into his server he started. So I don't recommend using that. And that is ShakeBot. So I'm pretty sure that's the name of his bot. I would not use that at all. Most people don't. Even the people that don't know the story I just said, they still don't use it. It's not good. And then the Ellibot is ran by one of RuneScape's like most well-known manipulator scammers. So just use that information as you will. I actually have had them come in and literally respond saying that yes, we did post a price that was like a week old or whatever, and I'm just like, well, then why would you do that? Like, the price manipulation is real on Ellie, so I would highly recommend not using that as well. Not to mention that the people running it are about the worst kind of people you can find in RuneScape. So yeah, and I'm not going to get any more into it. If you want more information, you just ask in our server. There's lots of people who know the story about those guys. So since SudiBot is gone, we are basically the only reliable source of that kind of price information. There is nothing like this, like flipping utilities. I wish there was. That'd be great. Let's do 1422. This is not looking like it's going to sell super fast for us. 1422, 997K. Let's try that. So that would be 1418, and we paid 1415.6, so we'd make 2.4. Yeah, 2.4. That'd be good. That'd be real good. This Torva plate is just not wanting to go. Oh, and the price is dropping even more. I think that actually is a really accurate price drop. Kind of like I was mentioning before. See, now look. This is what you don't want to do. Don't let the item sit there forever without looking at it, because now this has dropped much further than what it probably would have dropped if I would have just looked at it before. So right now we'd be selling it for 389,960. 389,960. We're gonna make 660,000 coins on it though. So even though we weren't paying attention, we kind of messed up. We'll still make money. Looking over here, I'm gonna have to look at that graph really quick and see. So bow. Also, too, when it comes to like everybody else's bots and flipping services, all this bullshit they're making to basically copy what we did. Notice how there's no videos, there's no content of them actually doing it or whatever. Just like take that in for a second. Okay, so we look right here. 137.2, 137.29. I'm gonna do the 137.2. 137.2 with a 2K cut. That will give us 135,826. 135. We'll make 226,000. That's what we'll make on that one. So it's not bad. It's not bad given how much of a pain that bow was actually to achieve, because the bow has just been a weird price. They, like I said before, they normally are like much more consistent and smooth and everything, but not today. Let's look at Tamek and Shadow because I haven't been looking at the graph at all. I probably should have saved it in our favorite list, but I'm not logged in. That's why my favorite list is not here. But Tamekin is actually usually on my favorite list. Okay, so we've got one sale on this dip, 1420. And then we don't have any dramatic drops here. That's like there. I would say that we're definitely safe to try to go for 1423. I don't see anything that tells me that it wouldn't work. So we'll let her sit. It's got to be patient. You can't freak out. You can't panic on items like the Shadow and stuff like that. T-Bow, Shadow, Ellie, like all those items, you can't freak out. You can't panic. You can't be like, and then drop your price, because that's how everyone else buys the item, is because you freak out. So don't do it. But you also have to learn to know when to drop it. Like this right here, you know, we were at like 394, like 400 or something like that, and now we're down to 393,898. This is something we needed to drop because the other, like, this is dropping, but I'm not going to drop it too aggressively because this number is still slightly creeping. People are definitely still trying to pick them up and make that flip, but this price is clearly going to continue going down until that margin closes back down to like 500k. So we're sitting at like quite a bit of a profit, so we want to like just keep that in mind. Okay. Oh no, when you look a bit exhausted? Yes, tired. I have about 1 billion RS3, trying to figure out how to get started flipping, wondering if it's better to swap to RS and flip there or stay on RS3. Okay, this is going to sound like I'm trying to sell you something, and about 10% of me is, and the other 90% is not. So if that means something. So our Discord server, sounds like you're probably not using it yet. So if you are in our Discord server, all of our Patreon sections, like Patreon supporter sections, have buys and sells for tons and tons and tons of items, like spreadsheets full. And we have the spreadsheets, all the information, everything else. Given that tool, it's very, very easy for someone with no experience to start making money flipping an RS3. And with 1 billion, you could very easily turn that 1 billion into 2 billion or far past that in your first month. Like going from 1 to 2 should be like a basic entry level thing. Maybe going 1 to 3, you tried pretty hard. And then on like month 2, let's say you hit like 3, you go from 3 to 5 or 3 to maybe 6 or 7 if you got really, really good at it. I don't know your skill level or whatever, but going from like 3 to 5, not too bad. So that's an opportunity that would probably be better than you trying to scrape up money on old school RuneScape, especially when you have 1 billion on RS3. That's not going to swap to that much money on old school RuneScape. So you would have, like, you're not gonna be able to flip like Torva and stuff like that. You'd be able to flip like some other things. Like there are things you could flip, but you wouldn't be able to flip like Torva and whatever. Oh my goodness. Did our Tamekin Shadow really just tank? Oh, come on. No. Oh, that's not good. There's no way this number would be that low unless it just tanked. Did we really just lose a bunch of money on Shadow? It's not showing it on the graph yet, but it shows it up here. We'll see. Give it a second. I dropped my price down though by a lot. We'd still make over 1 million at this price, by the way. We'd still make like 1.4 million. So there is money to be made here. But this is not good. Oh boy. We'll see. I thought investing in purple Santa hat was a good idea, but I lost a lot. Yeah. Yeah, you know, like the purple Santa hat thing didn't really pan out as much as people want. But here's the thing though, is the purple Santa hat thing is not done. That's the thing. Is like some of those things, like you saw that video where I made like the post-Christmas like investing things. A lot of those things I post in there like skyrocketed, like big money. Like ice dyes and stuff, they went way up. I sold my ice dyes for like 1.2, so like I did really well in the ice dyes. And there we go. Our Torva's gone. Let's see, 389, 860. We paid 389. We made 560,000. We were aiming for $1 million. Didn't get it because it started dropping, but we made 560. Not bad. Let's hope we don't lose our entire house on Tumek and Shadow though, because that would suck. But just seeing this one number is not enough to freak me out that bad. It's enough to make me drop my price by a lot, but we'll see. Because I'm still above this number. Yeah, we'll see how it goes. Yeah, so ice dyes and soul dyes and the aurora dyes, those are the things where in that video I was like, these are like really good. These are definitely like super solid. Also the golden Santa hats did go up a bit from that video too. Not dramatically, but they went up a bit. It's another item that was in there too. About the only thing that really didn't pan out very well so far is that purple Santa hat. So that was one of the things I mentioned that I was going to be buying up. I didn't really have an estimated sale of like, you know, what I thought I was going to go to, but I just knew in the future it was going to be worth more than 60 or 70 million, you know. So that is something that could end up being long term. There was quite a few purple Santa hats in the game. That's a problem when it comes to you trying to hope for something to rise. This bow needs to sell. I don't really want to go lower than where we're sitting at though. We'll do like 137, 149. We'll try that. We'll try that. When did you buy them for investments? Hopefully not around Christmas. Oh, for him around Christmas time. Yeah, the purple Santa hats I bought, I didn't buy them until like a decent amount of time after Christmas. Like, well, not a decent amount of time. Sorry, the end of Christmas when they were like going down quite a bit. That's when I bought them. Oh, there we go. See, look at this. 135.8, 135.247, and then it's over here for 137.15. That's why you got to look at that history when you're flipping these things. You have to look at the history. So my last buy price is 135.6, so I made barely anything. We made 177K, but given how weird the prices were, I'll take it. Okay, so there we go. We have an updated shadow. I'm trying to decide what to do here. So here's the thing. I'm glad I can show you guys this. Even though it sucks that Tumek and Shadow might be taking a dip here and I might lose money. This is a good thing to show you guys. So we saw 1420 was sitting here forever, right? And now we see the 1419.77777. So this happened first, the 1402. And so people might have panicked and then been like, oh my god, and dropped it to 1410 or something. Knowing that the price is still right in the vicinity of what we have ours at tells me that this price is going to probably rise next, because people are probably going to be like, oh shit, it actually still sold for almost 1420, and then people are going to start buying it to come try to sell it up here. We're in at 1415.6. So I'm going to do 1420.997. I'm going to basically just try to get rid of it. We're not really going to try to make much on this. We're in it because it's all wacky. It's clearly dropping. But we're gonna sit up here and try to score an extra mil on top of this. That could definitely happen. Because I really think that this number down here is going to jump up. So we'll see where it goes. Let's see if we can see anything on the graph. Okay, we just see a dive bomb off the edge. Holy cow, that's so funny looking. Okay, so we have a 1420. We got a 1419. I honestly think that it's probably going to be down to like almost 1420, which sucks. We are going to lose money on this Tumek and Shadow. I can tell you right now. 1420, 497K. We're gonna lose money on this Tumek and Shadow. If this sells for this right here, we'll lose 100,000. It sucks, but we knew there was a chance it could be dipping, and this is why these items right here, the Tumek and Shadows and T-bows and all that kind of stuff, you need to be pretty skilled at flipping in this game to be able to do this. Now, what would normally happen with when I'm flipping is that let's say I did lose like 100K here, or maybe I lose 800K, because if I drop it down to this, we might lose 800K. If I did that, then I would just be buying the next one at this like 1402-ish number, and then try to just like scoop the money back up. So that is what I would do. I would not quit after only flipping one of them just because I lost, let's say, a mil. But I would just recoup it on the next flip. Maybe, I mean, if you did this flip right here, that's a 12 million flip, roughly. It's like a 12.5 mil flip if you did this flip, which is crazy. So would you really care if you lost 1 mil in the first one if you made 12.5 in the second one? Probably not. So if while you're like trying to flip the items, if you mess up on one of them, and this is not even a mess up. I didn't do anything wrong here. We actually bought it for a good price. What just happened is it just dipped. So just not really much you could do about that. But I would just make it back to the next one. Let's see. I have about 600 million old school and don't plan on playing that account anytime soon. Would you recommend a long-term investment gamble or active flipping a few hours a week? So are you playing on RS3 at all? And Miguel says, oh wait, talking about purple sands, are they worth buying at the moment? I would say purple sand hat right now is just kind of like indifferent. The opinion is indifferent because you could buy them right now, but we don't have any reason for them to jump up. But we do have a pretty good reason for them to slowly rise. But you could be waiting a while. That's the thing. Like, you could make some money on them. You'll be waiting a while, most likely. So my recommendation of somebody who is thinking about maybe buying purple sand hats right now or anything like that. Oh, what is up? Damn. Whoo. Shit. Called that. Look at that. We sold that for 800,000 more than they did. You guys suck. Let's buy another one. Because like I said, so I lost 100,000. So what could have been, and I'll come back to this, the purple sand that one second, but what could have been a multi-million loss if you were to freak out and panic turned out to be a 100K loss. And that is the kind of like skill level you need to work on in order to be able to flip stuff like this. Like you need to get to where you are just confident in your ability, and so you will not lose money. I lost 100K. I don't even count that as losing money on this, honestly, because in comparison to what we could have lost, not bad. I'm gonna try buying another one for 1408. Because if we buy it, I'll throw it in for 1419 and we'll see if we get it. And then that'll make us like 5-6 million, probably like 6 million profit. That'd be nice. So when it comes to investing in purple sand hats or anything like that right now, the big thing about that is that you just don't want to pool up a bunch of money in something that is not going to rise right now, unless you just have a lot of money that you don't really care about using. Like if you're like, oh, I don't need this 10 bill, then sure, go put 3 into purple sand hats. But if you're sitting there where you're like, all I have is 5 billion and I'm trying to work my way into using 2 alt accounts or 3 alt accounts, that is more important than investing in the purple sand hats. And you just need to math it out. Like you just need to sit there and like kind of calculate it out. If you were to buy an item, let's say you bought like 2 billion worth of items, purple sand hats, for example. Let's say that those doubled in price in 2 months. Okay, so you made 2 bill, right? Well, if you would have flipped with that 2 billion, then you might have doubled that in the first month. There's a pretty good chance you would if you had some kind of experience flipping and you were using like our pricing sections and stuff. You could definitely do that. You could definitely, most people do that. So that means that by the time that the first month is done, your 2 is now 4. And then during that second month, let's say your 4 turns into 6. We'll just be conservative. 6. Now, instead of making the 2 billion profit that you would have made holding the purple Santa hats, you instead made 4 billion profit by flipping with that money. So that's the reason why you don't want to use up money that you can't really afford. You don't want to like take that money and not flip with it when that would make you far more money. So it needs to be money that you just don't need at all. Or if you are someone that is not playing very much right now, then the other option, like the Santa investment or an investment similar to that, would be a good idea because you're not going to be able to flip enough to actually like make the money. No, not playing RS3 anymore, and I'm very casual work on Iron OSRS. Work schedule really cutting into the time I have to put towards the game. That makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah, I have like let's see. Yeah, I've got one for you actually. So, what you could do is this. Oh wait, perfect. I have a great idea for you, Connor. And this is a really wonderful way to invest that money, and I would recommend this. As you can see, I still have 235,000 red dragon hides sitting here, and some other green drags and stuff like that. So what I would recommend is watch my recent video. It was an old school RuneScape video on the channel, and watch that video about investing in the dragon hides. It's the most recent OSRS video I've posted besides this one. So that one explains like the dragon hide investment. If you look at the video before that for old school RuneScape, then you'll see like my investment that involved like the orbs and stuff. You can do either one of those. You want to... Oh, shit. Hang on, guys. 1 second. 1 second. Okay. So now that these fools took the bait. Right? 759K. All right. Now I'm going to put it for this price, and I'll explain why in just 1 second. 1419. We just bought it for 1408. Okay. Whoo! What is up? We just sold a Tumecan Shadow. I was not planning on flipping these big of items on the stream because it's on stream. But we just bought Tumecan Shadow for 1415.6 and then sold it for 1415.5, or well 1420.5. Then that's with the tax, which was above the price that they had. We knew that we knew the better price. I'm telling you guys, there's no one else in this game that is going to be flipping better than me. I'm telling you. So that's how this popped up, because we pushed the price up on the Tumecan Shadow with that price there. Now the previous price was like 1419.777. So I want to be below that previous price because we are the outlier. You know how the graph, if you look at the graph goes up, down, up, down, up, down. It pretty much always goes up, down, or it might go smooth, but that's rare. It's always up, down, up, down, up, down, up. So if we are the upper outlier of our graph here at 1420.5, then we want to now be under the other price we saw, because that will be that next part of the graph. That will give us the highest chance of a resale here. We only paid the 1408. I'm pretty sure that was mine. So look, these are my prices now. It's so funny. These are my prices up here. 1408.1. If we sell this, we will make a lot of dosh. 1408.1 with the taxes. It would be like, yeah, it's a lot. Why am I'm way it's late here, by the way. I'm so tired. So 1414. Let's get the exact number. 1414.758. Oh, what's up? What is up, boys? God damn. Some tasty profit right there. Whew. We made so much money. I can't even take it out of the exchange because we'll be way over max. Let's do it again. 1407.11111. Well, that number is not correct. This one is. And I will tell you why this one is correct and the other one's not correct in a second. Okay, so let's take this out now. We look back here, 1408.1. We made like 6.65 mil. Yeah, we made 6.65 mil. That is way above the average margin for a Tumecan. You can definitely get that much money, but 6.65 mil on stream, that's pretty good. That's not a bad margin at all. If you were to convert that into RS3 GP, you would have made something close to like 60 million coins in that one flip. So that gives you an idea for you guys that only play RS3. But yeah, let's go ahead and try this one. Now the reason why The reason why I'm saying this number is not correct is because we had the 1408-101, right? This 1407-11111 is another offer that was probably filled and pulled out and everything after ours. So that's why it looks lower here. And so our recent one was 1408-101. The people who saw that are going to be paying above this number, not this number. So we need to be at 1408-202. I hope that makes sense. I'm really happy that we're doing these types of items on here though, because this is giving you guys like the real good strategy shit. Like this is the kind of stuff that like the people don't like. They don't get this in depth on the flipping strategies usually. So we're at about an 8 mil hour now, because actually this didn't take us anywhere near an hour. I'm just gonna say our session time is 1 minute, was like 1 hour 23, but we have not been flipping for an hour because I've been not even using any of our slots. I've not been using basically any of our slots, and we also talked so much and went through so many graphs and everything that realistically, if we were to be actively flipping, this profit would have taken us probably about 20 minutes. I'd say about 20 minutes, and with only using the 3 slots. Now, if you were like 4 slots, we use whatever. If we were to like flip a lot of items at the same time, we'd be at least to 30 million by now in our hour and a half, probably above that, but not bad. Not bad. All right, so I bet you money. Now look, it hasn't bought yet. Now look, we are literally 1.2 million above this. So you'd be like, it should buy by now, right? Yeah, it probably would buy, because that's not the right number we want to be at. Now the 1419.758, it's going back down to that dip. We're just following it along, and there we go. We're gonna try to buy one more Tumekin, and they'll probably call it a night. But yeah, super exciting. Is RS3 dying? No, it's not. RS3 and Old School RuneScape are both doing great. They're both doing really great. They actually just put out their sales earnings and everything, and the earnings they made from RS3 are crazy. Honestly, it's like a lot of money. They are definitely far from dying. So, but I mean, what I can say though is that the players of RS3 I think are becoming more transient. So what I mean by that is I mean that I think that players are starting to be more update focused rather than just playing all the time. I feel like old school RuneScape players are much more like consistent players probably nowadays. And RS3 players probably pop in and pop out. And that's probably a reason why you see a lot of those dips in the population. There's definitely still quite a few players. They definitely always pop back in when there's events or whatever. But new boss release is packed, And yeah, I mean, like any dying that RS3 would be doing, it's already done that. That yeah, just like what Super Zero is saying right here. Like it's already done whatever dying it would be doing. Are you able to flip 31 of those in 4 hours? No, you can do 8. Tumekin Shadow is 8. And we bought 2 right now. So that means that in a grand total, you got 6 4-hour periods. So you could do 6 times 8 is 48. So if you were to do 48 Tumekin Shadows and you were making the 6.6 million that I just made on that shadow is not real. Oh, see, there we go. They went way above the price. There's people stealth flipping. That's exactly what's going on right now. Also, too, I'm pretty sure I made back all my money that I lost on my fletching supplies, so it's a win. But this is why I love shadows. Like I said, I flip a lot of shadows. That's the reason why that's why I can sit here and tell you guys like, oh, it's gonna go here, it's gonna go there. Like I've flipped so many shadows. Like I have made a ridiculous amount of money on shadows. So and T-bows. Like I've done a lot of those. They're very, very fun. It can be stressful sometimes. It's very fun. So if you were to flip 48 of those in a 24-hour period, like, I don't know, maybe you just don't sleep or you slept for a very short amount of time or you woke up in the middle of the night, I don't know. But if you were to do 48 of those in a 24-hour period, I would say that you most likely let's see, would it be 48? So 8 times 6, yeah, 48. So I would say that you're not going to be realistically be getting, oh, there we go. We're not realistically going to be getting a 6.6 million margin. Like, the margin's not going to be as juicy as it is right now. Like, right now, the margin's ridiculous. Boom. We bought it for 1409. Even after tax, we will make 5,758,000. So almost 6 million. Oh shit! Somebody already beat me to that price. Look at that! Look at that! I'm telling you, I'm not trying to brag at all. I'm not. But that just shows you how much experience I have flipping this crap. Is like 14,19,758,976 what I just put. Their price was 14,19,758,996. I mean, look at that. I'm 20 coins below. Wow. But yeah, if you were to do 48 of them in a 24-hour period, I really don't think that you would get anywhere near these types of margins. Like this is rare. I would say the average margin is something around like 1.5 ish. So let's just say you did the average of like 1.5 ish, like average low. You'd make 72 million OSRS in a 24-hour period. So if you were to swap that over, you're getting like quite a bit. If you swap that over to RS3, depending on the rates, you're getting at least 500 million coins in one day off of one item. And actually, you wouldn't have to, if you're only doing shadows, you wouldn't have to sit there all day long. You could just, because you could just go and you'd flip your 8 of them and then just go do something else for the rest of the 4 hours. So, but all right, come on, shadow. I'm actually gonna dip this down because this price is going down again. Even though we were so close. 14,19,758. We would have got the sale if we had it in there faster. Like if we would have bought it faster. 19,598. We're gonna do like a decent dip on this because I need to get off the PC. So we'll make a solid amount of money. We'll make something around 5.5 million on this one when it goes. Which I'll be shocked if it doesn't sell. And we'll let these super stores sit overnight. All of that's per account, and you can make enough to buy another bond, another account, and then you can double it next hour. Yes. So in theory, let's see how much a bond is on old school. 10 point. So, wow, that's cheap. So basically, so 10.7 million, right? So 10.7 million. We could buy a bond every 2 Mechans. So that means that we'd be able to buy 4 bonds. Right now, we'd be able to buy 4 bonds by flipping a full set of 8 of these. So you could flip 8 of these, and then you could bond up 4 new accounts and then flip 32 more Mechans. And you could make a pretty ridiculous amount of money. So if you had a lot of money to flip with, like if I was to pull all my money from all my other old school RuneScape accounts onto one account and like flip with whatever amount that is right now, it's probably like something around like 50-60 billion right now. It's probably like right in between. Then yeah, I would be making a crazy amount of money by bonding up accounts, then just bond some more accounts. But like I said, though, it's not really realistic for this price to sit here because this is a really good price. So hopefully this one goes quickly because I'm super hungry. I want some food. But all right, guys. Just kind of like wrap it up while I wait here for this to sell, because when this sells, I will go ahead and pop off. But if you guys had any other questions, let me know. I'll try to answer them real quick before we go. But if you're watching this as a recording on YouTube, then and you actually made it to the end of it, then holy shit. You should say that Tumekin is the best item in old school RuneScape ever, because we made a bunch of money. And just put your questions in the comments down below on the video, and I will be sure to answer them. But yeah, it's been real fun this evening. I think I'm gonna go ahead and hop off now. Actually, though, guys, I'm gonna just go ahead and clean up my office and get ready to go downstairs and get some food while I wait for this to sell. So I will see you guys soon. Have a good one.